Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'm here tonight to introduce Joe Hanman, the chair of the ATAX Advisory Committee. Also recognize in the audience tonight Lindsay Davis, the vice chair, and Christina Junko, who is our staff liaison. So I'll turn it over to Joe to present the recommendation. Thank you, Rick. Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, city staff. We appreciate the opportunity to present to you our committee's funding recipient recommendations for the Tourism Fund grant in fiscal year 2022 through 23. Last week, you heard Matt Uford share the annual budget review and explain the complexities of both state and local hospitality and accommodation tax and how they relate to the overall city budget. For the sake of reference, and as stated in the City of Greenville's website, the purpose of City of Greenville tourism funds is to provide financial investment for tourism capital projects, marketing projects, and/or events that promote and develop tourism through the generation of publicity and substantially increase travel, that being overnight stays or day visits to the City of Greenville for the reasons of recreation or leisure. Each application or proposed project will be reviewed individually to determine its potential economic impact on local accommodations and restaurants. The amount available for the next fiscal year, 22 through 23, is $1,950,000, which is slightly lower than the fiscal year 2019 through 20, which was at $2 million. We received 31 total local tourism-related projects and event applications for a total of $3,853,967 requested by our applicants. 4 of these applications were new, meaning those applicants had not filed previously. Each of these applicants presented in person to our committee and were carefully reviewed by the detailed guidelines for the City of Greenville tourism funds. Since only 1.95 million rather is available, not all applications obviously can be fully funded. But after careful consideration, we have provided a copy of our recommendation letter to both you and the city manager with our proposed grant amounts for review and approval. We invite you to review these recommendations and provide any additional feedback to the city manager or ourselves for review. Thank you. We have Mr. Manager. We have time for some questions. Thank you for serving. Thank you for adding this information to us. I just have a few comments. First thing I see is artist field. Good grief, what an event. Huh? That was fantastic this weekend. You can tell people for that. And council can help me a little bit too with some of this. Greenville should talk about the map and good staff. Excellent. And that's speaker series. The way I see is a different style of events that I pretend to do little bit the school trip. That's right. But it's not. Thank you. Just a comment on President Greenville, which I think does a wonderful job and is reflected here. That's for sure. One thing that I would like to see, and this is maybe for you or maybe for council, is to see some more coordination with events like the basketball tournament. So we've had conversations with Visit Greenville. Things can get positive. I have no complaints about the organization because they do a really good job. I did make a point after the NCAAs to make sure that we do that. We, city, and other stakeholders in the community are involved with coordination of these events because, as I mentioned before, we're never going to have the Super Bowl, we're never going to have the Olympics. But what we do have is the NCAAs, and that really is our Super Bowl. And so we'd love to see more community-wide. There's agreement for this awesome job initiatives in this event. We'd love to see more coordination with the community on that. So that was it. It's just a conversation. That's me.
in conjunction with more things that reach to more people than just the games itself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, in it might have been 2002 when we first got the NCAAs here. I was actually in Jason Zacker's role in the back of the room, and I remember at the time the arena and the CVB at the time reached out to the chamber and other stakeholders in the community and said, "Hey, this is a really, really big deal. We need all hands on deck to make sure we put our best foot forward with this event because again, we don't get the Super Bowl, we don't have the Olympics here, and I was in front of that process. We went to Indianapolis, looked at best practices, got the business community involved, city was very, very involved, and so my suggestion after this event was, we've got the women's tournament that's coming, and then in 4 years we've got the NCAA's coming again. And that is such a great opportunity for us to put our best foot forward and not just visit Greenville, which I'm sure has put their best foot forward, but all of us and helping visit Greenville and putting our community best foot forward because, the world's watching, right? It's actually, so that was my suggestion.
That's an idea because oftentimes we always miss an opportunity to reach out to particularly the educational department, young people, because if they don't, sometimes they will come back home when they get to college. But this is an opportunity for us to look at how we can reach students, particularly special emphasis neighborhoods and others, but some people chance to go to that basketball game, but given an opportunity, it could make a difference in their lives. And actually, everything I would suggest, we could suggest, we could let people do nothing, but it is something to look at.
And how many stakeholders are out there that I'm not even thinking of, just like you mentioned it.
So, Joe. So, Joe chairs our combinations tax committee. And that was a group of about 8 and I had the opportunity to watch 4 or 5 presentations, and then the next time to watch last deliberation. So a couple of things struck me about it. First of all, the incredible committee, very invested, great expertise. So I really commend y'all and the time you put in discernment, and I appreciate that very a lot. I would ask, and I don't know if it's doable or not. I know this is something that Ken and Matt have to weigh in on separately, but as I listened to the discernment and some of the proposals, it seems to be good stewards of the money. If we are able to vet organizations that are asking for grant money in terms of, where they rank as charitable organizations. I think there was a discussion about administrative costs versus what the cost of the organization actually go towards the mission of the organization. To me, that's relevant in terms of a measure of the organization that's asking for the grant money. So if the committee is able to, I don't want to say score, but assess that of the grant of the applicant, I think it's relevant. And you can't do that for the smaller ones. There are some very small organizations that are going to pop up on those, but for the larger ones, the committee should be aware of, I think, of how those organizations that apply for grant have been stewards of the money in other areas.
Just so I understand, are you saying in relation to the organization as a whole, not just in the request for?
Correct. Correct, because I know in the request for the funds, y'all are doing a great job, but that's for those organizations demonstrate that they were tracking the ROI in terms of patronage, tourism impact. That's whatever that's in that because that's your goal. They're trying to put heads and beds, but there's one thing to put heads and beds, tourism. Right? That is the ultimate goal. But to me, and this is going to speak to the next part, it's not an either or, it's an and both. The tourism functions, but not only but can also be a draw for the people who already live here and work here, and can also be an attractant for the people who have left here but we would like to come back. And that has been a theme that y'all have not been aware of, that we talked about. But what can we as a city do to attract the diverse community that we're trying to attract back and trying to come here? So the next thing I would say is, how are the grants? Is there a way to structure the application? How do the grants, the applicants, align with the city's priorities? So our city has 7 priorities, John. That's the count. We have set priorities. Everything we do ties to our priorities that are well published. Every weekend review speaks towards a priority. Every budget line item speaks to a priority. And ATAX grants that put heads in beds and speak to the priorities of our city, to me, are better than those that don't. So if there's a way to measure that, and all this is in the wish for next year. I just kind of challenge you to think about those and see if we can do it.
If I could say one thing just so you're aware, we do have discussion within the committee to set up a conversation about next year's process for situations and it's just like that. So any more of those that you have during this discussion or even after, please feel free to email those or give them to Christina and she can relay them to us.
Yeah, because I think y'all can be way out in front of it without a major encumbrance on your time. You've served a lot of hours in this past month and two looking at them. But to be prepared for the next one and to be better, I just think we have such an A team on this committee right now, and everything people are saying is spot on. But I really want y'all teamed up to do great things next year and to align with the city's priorities as they can with putting heads in beds.
Great.
The only thing I was going to say was that really, so our staff has really to get that better to it. So that's what I'm saying. That we need to be very clear in terms of making sure that we make sure that the staff has that information in terms of what we're looking for, so that the community can do an effective job. And themselves can have access to some of it.
I'm not sure who this is addressed to, Jeff. Maybe Matt, maybe Mr. Zacher, and maybe Matt. I'm not sure. But when we talk about economic impact, when we throw out the numbers of, I think the NCAA, David Greenville said the economic impact was $15 million. What's the breakdown of that economic impact? How much of that economic impact is actually building hospitality and ATAX? Does that question make sense, Matt?
So, the metrics that the specific organization is using. So typically it includes direct spend in terms of nights and meal purchases for hospitality foundations. And then we'll also include indirect spending merchandise,
Like retail.
And so it really is dependent on the organization.
Good. And this is probably a question that we'll have in our sessions with Visit Greenville, but I would love to see a really strong return on investment analysis. How many heads are we putting in beds? What's the money that we're spending, especially with the discretionary money that we're giving to Visit Greenville? So I hope that's part of the conversation we'll have next week.
In addition to that, is there any way that, because I don't think the committee goes out and choose the people, but is there any way that when the recommendations come that we could also have a metric that talks about the number of diverse? Because we're looking at there's some other organizations that apply, some do not apply, and then we're looking at that so we can put them to be able to let it out. This is that's something that doesn't do as a city. We've got to do better job of reaching out to certain people.
I did a calculation of if we're getting designated at $3 million, for example, that's equivalent to $71 million in heads and beds, and that's part of it, right? Not close to that. And so that's a big number. I think we need to really explore what is that return on investment we're getting from designated. But just a comment. Appreciate your good work with long tradition and this council of doing something that a lot of city councils and county governments do not do, which is we basically rely on the committee to make the decisions and all their staff. We resist the temptation to pull the string and suddenly $17,000 is being argued about as opposed to $5,000 and that kind of thing. Just so council knows that in the early days, that's what happened. We would have weeks and weeks and weeks of city council meetings where people would squabble over whether with that 5,000 and with that 7. That's what the committee's for. And even if I don't look at this every year and think, well, I don't like this one, but hey, the whole works very well. Respect the good efforts of the staff and the committee to hold the hearings and do the deep dig and make some decisions, even if they're not perfect decisions, are good decisions, and we appreciate that. There's plenty of people that asked the money this year didn't get anything, so we understand how that works too.
Well, I would say this committee has they're the ones that saw the presentation. They're the ones that are reading the applications.
That's exactly right. Some led to the committees again that lobbied at the last minute to change it. Said, right. So, thank you very much.
And council, you have 4 total items to discuss in executive session this afternoon. 3 of the items on the agenda, items 4A, 1, 2, and to be discussed fall under South Carolina Code 30-4-70, Section 5, to discuss matters related to economic development incentives related to that. And then an additional item for the discussion of negotiations sensitive to proposed contractual agreement with CSA for the use and maintenance of summer fields.
That's modified.
Board's information. Thank you.
Motion second. Motion aye.